This is
Who
just the
remembers?
worst.
Who
Just the
remembers?
worst.
What even are we? What game is this?
Who are you
What-
people?
Why are the three of us together on a Monday night?
What are we doing?
If you
Hey,
haven't figured it out
internets.
after 3 years,
It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, Book 7 Under a Red Moon. This is Chapter 101, Secrets and Subterfuge. It seems like only 5 weeks ago we were celebrating our 100th episode. And then we didn't play for 5 weeks. Some of that was my fault. Well, not exactly. I hurt my back and couldn't sit for long periods of time, but
What's a little
unfortunate
traction between friends?
that it happened right at the end at our final few episodes. We're like, hey, we're almost done, and this is how we make it last. We put a month or so between each episode. But anyway, here we are. And in just a moment here, I'm going to give Gary and Cari and all of you a recap, because I guarantee you Gary and Cari don't remember what happened in the last session, or at least where we left off. Gary, maybe. By
Hey,
Carrie's
the
admission,
underside
no.
the underside of this bus is so uncomfortable. Wow.
Oh, anyway, couple of real quick announcements. Hey, look up there. Nope, over there. It's domain tomes. Domain tomes are the domain dice for this game. They are, of course, a way that you, the viewer, can have an impact on our game, simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, tipping $5, cheering 500 bits, all that will earn domain tomes that Gary and Cari can use to re-roll a check or draw a hero point card, which has never been done since we started Pathfinder. They can avoid death once per session per player, or change of fate. You can adjust the success level up or down by 1 degree with 5 domain tomes. Again, they only earn those when any of those things previously mentioned happen, as just happened just now. We've got a couple other shows that are, of course, on our schedule for at least a few Mondays. We'll be wrapping up this campaign and then taking a short break. And sometime, probably a few weeks or a month after this campaign wraps, will be a new Monday Night Adventure. We announced recently that we will be running, I can't find the book right now, but we'll be running another Pathfinder adventure.
7 dooms for Sandpoint.
7 dooms for Sandpoint. There you go. And of course, Cari is going to be joining us, and a few other awesome people that you've seen perhaps in different areas, but we'll have a more official announcement as we get closer to that. Tomorrow night is Sky Metal Iron Gods. We play every other Tuesday. We just recently got to level up. We hit a major boss, and I have a feeling we're almost done with Chapter 1. Finally. We got set back after that TPK, and in our last session, as Cari can attest from the audience point of view,
Jesus. You guys, no, it's tough, man.
The
Vi
last-
does not pull any punches.
no, the last session, we had a session-long combat
Oh,
that
God.
dropped every single character at least twice. So
I was like begging in chat for you guys to like just get captured, because it was like it was curtains. It was not looking good.
It was looking very bad. Actually, one of the players legitimately created a backup character and put it in the campaign on D&D Beyond. That's how confident they were that they were going to die. So yeah, you can check that out on Tuesday nights. Thursday nights is our Kids on Bikes RPG. Welcome to Paradise Academy. We are in our 2nd season. I think we most recently had episode 21, which is up on YouTube now. We finished up an arc, and we're moving into a new arc. But that game will be off this week. And returning, we were off last week as well for the holiday. We'll be back on the 18th. I believe it is the 18th. Next week. And word has it, we might be having a special guest joining us. A guest character player joining us for a few weeks. Ooh. So I think this is the first Cari's actually hearing this, because I haven't told everybody
I didn't
yet.
know this.
Yeah, we will be having a guest player joining the kids and adding to the mayhem. So tune in for that. Anyway, before we get going, I'm not gonna go through the spiel for the audience. You can type ! audience. This is we're adults. We talk like adults. We get in fantasy situations. Things get weird. We encourage you, though. This one I will say, we encourage you to use safety tools and session zeros in your own games. They're very important, whether you're streaming, whether you're playing a private game at home. If it's a one-shot or a campaign, it doesn't matter. You should have a session zero to get to know your players. You let everybody understand what everybody's lines and veils are, and then set safety tools in place, such as the traffic light system that we use to ensure that everybody stays safe at the table. The last thing I want to mention before we get started is that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether you believe it or not. It is true. There's any number of reasons why you might be struggling, or you might want to talk to somebody. Maybe you're not even struggling, or maybe you know somebody who is struggling. Whatever the case may be, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to get started on the journey to finding help. All you have to do is type !help as I did, or check out the bottom of the screen, as the information will pop up there from time to time. Specifically the URLs, the URL findahelpline.com. Or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I know it's been a few weeks, but Cari, do you remember what time it is?
I think so. I think it's time to find some paths, bitches.
There we go. Let us start with a recap. Most recently, you had spoken with. You had a nice period of rest and holdover at Mom's house. Cookies and milk, a nice home cooked dinner. Multiple so rooms hidden behind doors that open in all different ways. Mom rolled out the hospitality carpet, said, "Hey, how you doing? You sure you don't want to join me in my coven of witches?"
You're making this sound so weird. That's because it was. It was weird.
It gets weirder. It's a regular family reunion with Flip the Goblin, essentially the fifth wheel or third wheel or whatever in this situation, because it's Mom, it's Teera, it's Kane, it's little Teera, Kane's daughter, who has been magically linked to Melina Frostheart, the Frost Witch, protecting herself. In the hopes of protecting herself, that if you try to kill her, you will also kill the little girl, and vice versa. You have been tasked, and you were brought by her magical cabin with chicken legs. You were brought to the point where...
Uh-oh, Jake's being attacked. It's a ghost!
I don't know what's happening. We have a cat running around here, so it could just be that. You know how cats are. You're brought to the place where the monastery of the Black Lotus appears, Temple of the Black Lotus, once every 10 years for the flower to bathe under the light of the blood moon. You have been tasked to retrieve this flower for Melina's use, though each of you seem to have your own particular reasons for wanting just to peddle this flower, because it said that it will grant wishes. And you actually set off. Oh, I forgot the weird part about Melina. She didn't need you in her coven anyway, because as she revealed when she removed her cloak, she has grafted the severed heads of Ravona Shadowheart and Venora Briarheart to her shoulders, and she is essentially her own coven.
It's a very exclusive club.
You walked up the steps and entered into the monastery, making your way through the entryway and then into a hallway where some fire traps tried to burn you, but you all got out of the way of those. Some of the Rosgadai monks attacked you. You were able, the three of you were able to stop them. And then I believe it was, which one of you was it that found, was it Flip that found the secret door, or was it Teera?
I think it was Flip.
Maybe it was Kane. I don't remember. One of you found the secret door.
It was Kane. Yes, sorry.
One of you found the secret door, and when you went through it, you walked into what looked like a well-appointed library of scrolls and books and whatnot, appointed or attended by what appeared to be an Oni, a large ogre, who was very familiar looking to all of you, as your old friend Little One. Though he removed his disguise and took on the form that you most know him as when he transitioned into a Goliath man named Vaughn Reed. And that's where we left off, that you have just come into this library in this mysterious temple, having a surprise reunion with somebody that Teera, you're the only one that would would remember Vaughn as he sort of transitions into his Goliath self, this well-muscled, tall, probably a good 6 inches taller than you, Teera. Tattoos running up and down his arms and across his bald head. And he still wears that circlet on around his forehead. But he just sort of grabs you by your shoulders and just does one of those kind of like, I can't believe that I'm looking at you.
And I'm trying to like hug him, but my arms aren't long enough. And like how did you get here?
Well, something very strange happened not long after you departed from, I forget the name of the place, the day spa. After you departed, there was some sort of, it was as if the world blinked and then was different. And I found that a portal that had previously been closed had opened. And of course, I figured, why not? I grabbed my things and I stepped through. And oddly, the portal took me to this pocket dimension where this temple exists. I was able to quickly use some scrolls that I had found at the spa to disguise myself and essentially made myself indisposable to them as a keeper of scrolls and books. To them, I am here as in my ogre form, but with a touch of Oni, which is a sort of magical ogre. Given my excessive interest in reading, I've read many scrolls, and it turns out some of the basic ones I'm a little, almost a natural, you would say. The ability to cast particularly illusion spells.
Well, holy shit, good for you.
Well, then I found out that this place, this pocket dimension, the monastery stays there for 10 years at a stretch.
Oh.
Now, some people would think that this would be like a prison sentence. But I had just been told that for 10 years at a time, I get to sit alone in a library full of thousands of scrolls and books and just read.
Well, I'm sure that sounds wonderful for you. And I'm happy for you. You know, so are you like... Yeah, so you just get pestered once every 10 years then, eh?
Well, currently, most of the Rosgadai don't bother with the books. It was their previous leader, Manazusa, that was, I'm told, the one who was apt to spend more time in the library. Most of them can't be bothered to read. They train, they fight, they train, they fight. All in the efforts of protecting the object at the heart of this temple. Preparing it for this very night.
Well, do you know how to get to the heart of the temple?
You did hear the part where I just said all of the Rosgadai monks have been training for 10 years exclusively to protect.
Yeah, but it's important. We have to... it's a lot to explain, but we have to at least try. I mean, maybe you can talk to him.
What happened to the others? Where's... Well, you're the only one I recognize. This one looks eerily similar to you. And the little one over there.
He was talking about Flip for a second. I think Teera, confused, looks at Flip and then looks like further
Kane,
over her shoulder and sees
Kane
Kane.
just taps you on the shoulder. I think he's talking about me.
And Teera doesn't want to make it obvious, but you could hear her just very quietly go oh.
Yeah, we frequently get mistaken for twins. I'm the more handsome of the twins.
Vaughn,
obviously.
This is Flip. He's very charming and he's good at everything. Just ask him.
I got the looks and the brains.
But what happened to Vaughn?
The others.
Nizia.
Born dead. Vizia missing. Who else? The first one disappeared before I came around.
Where's Doc?
Doc.
We don't talk about Doc.
We lost him. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know if he's dead, really, but it's hard to explain. And Vaughn might not be dead.
No, he's definitely dead. He might come back, but 100% dead ski.
Is that why you're here, Teera? I know you and Vaughn were close.
Hmm.
And Teera kind of looks uncomfortably over her shoulder at Kane. because like there's obviously a divided objective here, and she kind of like looks back at Vaughn and just like nods like a little bit.
The fact that you're here and that you stumbled into this secret entrance into my library, I suppose you know exactly what it is that is at the heart of this temple. You know
Yeah.
that these Rosgadai monks, they are zealous in their desire to protect it. Particularly, as I understand it, in this cycle. Their previous leader, Manazusa, was killed just after the last cycle. The Rosgadai monks want to use the power of the Black Lotus to resurrect him.
Did he off himself because he had a terrible name?
What did happen to him?
The stories vary depending on which of the monks you talk to. He was very secretive. It's believed that he was attempting to harness the power of the Black Lotus outside of the pocket dimension. He wanted to be able to use it at will, not just once every 10 years. Suffice it to say that he died, and the monks believe that they can resurrect him with the power. Complicate matters, Manazusa, his spirit, did not ever leave this temple. Even in his undeath, he stands guardian over the Black Lotus. As an extra protection...
Who's he guarding?
What's that?
Who is he guarding it from? Anybody besides his own people? Is that it?
There are some few within the Rosgadai who do not want to see Manazusa resurrect. They, I am told, hope to stage a coup against the others, should it come to it. But they haven't made their move, nor has anyone made their move, because the Lotus itself is protected by a magical barrier that Manazusa himself established in the moments before his death. The Black Lotus is protected by a barrier in which no living thing can cross, ensuring that if any of his monks were to rebel, they could not cross into the barrier. It's also protections against interlopers. No offense, but... And he kind of points at the three of you.
Interlopers.
Well, through my readings, I've understood that over the centuries, word of the Black Lotus Temple sort of ebbs and flows. Some believe it to be legend and lore, and there are some that chase after those sorts of things. And every once in a while, somebody tries to get in this time of year. Somehow they've managed to keep it secret, for the most part, although clearly not secret enough.
So, Vaughn, I mean, you live here now, and you're really into, reading and books and learning. Do you have any ideas of how we can get that thing? We need to. It's important. Really important.
You've got to get past the Roskadai first. The entrance into the lower levels, where the Lotus is kept, is under the altar in the main training room in the tower. Unfortunately, that's where currently most of the Roskadai monks are actively training. I say most of the monks. There is one who may be willing to help you for a price. If you can make your way to the meditation chamber, you will be looking for a Rosgodai demon blade named Amara. She has monks who are loyal to her and can be of some help. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no interest in the Lotus. Or, quite frankly, what happens outside these doors. Although, it's going to be hard for me to ignore knowing that you are putting yourself in danger.
Well, that's nothing new. Hate to break it to you.
Well, it's gotten you this far.
Yeah.
You...
All right.
You will want to seek out Amara in the meditation room. She is located, or that meditation chamber is located south of here, across the courtyard.
Okay. Okay. And what's she like? What do we say to her? Be honest? Should we lie? Does she like goblins? I mean, any information would be helpful.
She's a demon blade, which is sort of like if the Roskadai monks are the most feared monks of their kind, she is doubly more fearsome, doubly more powerful. That potentially makes her a powerful ally. But if you don't handle it correctly, it would make her a powerful enemy.
Okay. Thank you, Vaughn.
I hope,
Is this, what?
I hope you succeed.
And Teera, I think at that time would hug Vaughn, and she would just kind of like pull him back eventually and say, "Well, you know, it seems like every time I say goodbye to you, I end up coming back. So goodbye."
But maybe for more. I'll never say never. But in less than 8 hours, this temple will leave this plane and return to the demi-plane, where I will remain for the next 10 years with it. At this, Vaughn walks over to his desk, this big table set up in the middle of the hall where numerous scrolls and maps and books are open. There's several candles that are burning. And he slides over from under a pile. He slides a piece of parchment. And he takes a small metal pot. And he reaches into a container and drops a few small chunks of red wax, places it over a flame for a moment, and then he pours the melted wax onto the center so that it sort of, when it hits the parchment, it spreads out but kind of splatters a little bit. And as the wax begins to cool, Vaughn places his hand with a ring that he's wearing firmly into the middle of it. And when he pulls it away, you can see that the mark of the ring, which is the sigil that you see on here, seems to match the Temple of the Black Lotus, things you've seen hanging on banners or etched into the walls. But it's been modified, and you see that where the prominent part of the symbol is, it's been replaced with a stylized BR.
Wow. Jeez, Vaughn, you're moving up in the world. I don't have my own stationery. Flip, do you have your own stationery?
Of course I do.
Fuck.
What a stupid question that is.
Yeah, really. Very dumb of me.
And you know, frankly, I have two different versions. One, it's parchment, and each is monogrammed with a small message that says "From the desk of Flip," right? But my road parchment is from the mind of Flip. See how it's different? Because while I'm on the road and I'm composing, obviously it's not at my desk unless I were to bring the desk, but that would be silly. It seems like
that would be silly.
Yeah.
And Teera turns back to Vaughn and kind of turns her back to Flip a little bit, and she would just be like, "See, he's good at everything," and kind of with that like knowing like look, kind of roll her eyes.
I mean, look, Teera, if he's as well read as he suggests, I'm sure he already knows who I am. I'm the foremost legal scholar of in Absalom. As well, I'm a recognized expert in psychology. I mean, Flip, Pray, Love was a bestseller.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I haven't read it, of course, but
Vaughn,
Flip promises me a
when you say
autographed copy.
When you say that, Vaughn looks at you and he kind of cocks an eyebrow at you, and without taking his eye off of you, Flip, he reaches over to the stack of books and pulls one that's been opened. You see he pulls a book that's dog-eared. It's got annotations all over it. It is a copy of Flip, Pray, Love. You're the Flip.
Yeah.
And Teera is open-mouthed. She is like...
Would it be too forward to ask you for an autograph?
Not at all. Not at all. Let me just compose myself. Okay, I'm done. He's going to say, "May I?"
He hands you the book.
Flip is going to reach into his satchel and he's going to pull out a bottle of ink and a stylus. And what Vaughn is going to notice is that it's actually ink made of purple worm skin, so it's actually purple. So it's almost the rarest of inks. And he's going to say to Vaughn, "Wonderful taste, well read, an instant friend, yours, Flip." And then he's going to hand it back.
Oh my god. And Teera is watching all of this stunned. Like, she hasn't like given a ton of thought to all of Flip's boasting, but she's kind of in the back of her head thought that maybe all of this is bullshit, and it is not. And her world is rocked.
He's gonna lean in on to Vaughn, and he's gonna say, "Did you want to hear a secret?"
Always.
Now, you might not have seen this coming, and he's going to point to a book on the lower shelf. But I also write fiction under a pseudonym. And he's gonna pull a book off of the bottom shelf, and it's A Song of Ice and Flip by a writer named Pilf.
Stop it, you
fucker! And he's gonna say, I wrote this too. And book 6 is almost done.
He keeps saying book 6 is almost done. Book 6 is almost done. He's been saying that as long as I've fucking known him.
Well, I did not realize I had such gems in my collection. I must admit I have not read them, as I'm waiting for the set to be complete before I binge read them.
I mean, as you should. It really is a compelling narrative that crosses many stylistic boundaries.
I had heard talks that they were going to make this into a series of plays that were going to be presented live in Absalom.
Fuck off!
Flip would never dream of selling the rights.
I will not have my work adapted and bastardized by some hacks. Never.
Well, that's good to hear.
Very touchy subject.
That is good to hear. Keep the word pure on the page and in the imagination of the reader.
But I will because we've become such close friends. I will tell you the title of book 6.
Do tell.
It's not a working title. This is the title. Ready? It's called The Flips of Winter.
Whoa.
I cannot wait.
Well, I mean, you have
it's
to
a
wait
good thing
till
you're gonna
7 if you're going to read the whole thing, but just saying it, so you have to
don't
wait
worry.
a little bit.
It might be out by the time you come back.
I'll
a
be
decade
back in
from
10
now.
years, so hopefully both books will be completed.
No promises, but I'm working on it. Putting some time on it. Just I mean, Pilf is. I'm not just, But I bet he's handsome, that Pilf.
This is no purple-hued autograph of a famous bard, but he hands over the piece of parchment with his sigil in wax and says, "If you encounter Amara, show her this. She will know that you are a friend of mine. Will be less likely to slit your throats."
Oh, great. Thank you. I think that's about as valuable as an autograph. In my mind.
I do apologize if I've seemed rather cavalier about your life and death. I'm afraid it's the influence of the Roskadai here. I do genuinely hope you succeed. But know this. If you should perish in your efforts, I will see to it that you are given a proper burial.
I would ask to be I mean, not we're kind of splitting hairs here, but could you?
No,
could
of course
for
you're going to want to be
for me
burned in a pyre.
Yeah,
I know the customs of those from the land of mammoths.
For the record, don't split my hair. It's glorious, even in my death.
I would not
Hey,
dream
Teera.
of doing such a thing.
Flip is gonna
What?
sort of like pull down on her shoulder and like suggest that she should come down so that she can whisper something. He can whisper
I
something in her ear.
I crouch down like a catcher. What?
Teera,
What?
you're welcome. For
Thank you,
me.
Flip.
For me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for just being you. And Tira stands right back up. It's like, well, Vaughn, I guess this is goodbye. Thank you for everything.
Which has genuinely been very nice to see you and your friends, and genuinely, and he holds the book up, still having not closed it because he wants to ensure that the ink is fully dry. I will treasure this. And he walks over to his table and takes a seat. And you see for a moment, as he contemplates the stacks of books and parchments, he kind of, oh, what in the hell's? And he scooches his chair back, walks over to the shelf, and grabs the very first book of A Song of, what was it? A Song of Flip and Fire?
Ice and Flip. Yeah.
Ice and Flip.
I can't. The Song of Ice and Flip. And he sits down at his table and he picks up a small set of round spectacles and perches them on his nose and opens up carefully to the first page, and you see, and this is where you realize that Vaughn moves his lips when he reads.
Because he's, oh my god, that's adorable.
You can faintly hear him as he's reading the first lines of his next great adventure in literature.
That is the most precious thing ever, because like he just learned how to read. Okay.
There's a door to the south. A door on the south wall, in the middle of the wall.
And Vaughn said,
which is where which is where he indicated when he said, "You want to go to the meditation rooms in the south."
Okay, our new best friend is just waiting for us.
As Flip starts to walk out the door, he's gonna gesture to Flip, Pray, Love, and he's gonna say, "Remember, page 87. It only matters if you believe it." And then he's gonna walk out.
Tira follows him.
All right.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
You pass through the door, and cat troubles?
Seems like it.
Cat requiring special attention. Your cat requires special attention?
Kind of. Sorry. It's a whole thing.
You step through the door into the courtyard, and you see that this courtyard is bathed in the red light of the moon. The courtyard is about 60 feet square, dominated in the center by a about 25-foot circular well. The moonlight seems to almost gather into this well. Open to the sky, you see the blood moon directly overhead. There are double doors to the west. Double doors up a set of stone stairs to the east, and a single door across the courtyard on the other side of the well, heading in the south wall. There is visible to the north a 40-foot high tower that is overlooking the courtyard. You can see 6 narrow windows on the second floor of the tower, about 20 feet up.
Can we hear anything? Like, I don't know, fighting training sounds, for example?
Listening very faintly, or very carefully, you can hear from the direction of the tower occasional sounds of a single voice calling out, and then several voices calling out in unison.
Oh my god. It's like fucking Cobra Kai. Okay.
No
All right.
mercy!
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, let
Sweep
us
the leg,
continue.
Johnny! Sweep the leg!
Get him a body bag! So Teera would like kind of like look down at Flip and be like, I keep going south, right? South, that's what Vaughn said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Just try not to alert those fuckers up there.
Yes, those fuckers should not be alerted.
All right.
I have a feeling we're going to need to alert them at some point. If we've got to go to where they are to get... Unless...
Yeah.
And Kane walks over to the edge of this giant well. And he kind of peers down. You're not going to believe this.
Does it go all the way down?
Sounded vaguely Australian there.
You're not going to believe this, mate.
That's not a well. This is a well.
This is a well.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing T20's not here.
That's awesome. Somebody clip that. Let's
But-
send it to T20.
He does look down in the well. He looks back at you guys and he says, "You're not going to believe this."
Does it go all the way down?
What? And Teera goes over and stands beside him and looks down.
Looking down into this pit, you can see that it goes about 100 feet down. And illuminated in the center at the base, on what looks to be a small patch of land in the midst of some water, is a single black lotus flower.
You're fucking kidding me.
Bathing in the red light of the blood moon that is gathering from up above.
Well, there it is. I don't trust this. There's got to be traps or something, right?
Well, Kane kind of crouches down and looks around amongst the ground for a moment and finds about a rock about the size of a gold coin. And he lets it loose. It falls about 3 or 4 feet, the equivalent of just about the same distance as from the top of the wall to where the ground level is, for the ground you're standing on. And it goes, doof, doof, and you see a very faint ripple of arcane energy.
Oh, that's that barrier Vaughn was talking about. A living thing can't get through there.
I don't know a lot about magic, but that sounds like it could be, although a rock's not a living thing.
Well, and it stopped that just the same.
Well, of course it would be too easy to go down the pit. They've blocked it off somehow.
Yeah. Well, I think we should still talk to, Amara. Maybe she has some kind of a way we can get through. And be nice. We need to all be on our best behavior.
I'm always nice.
Be nice to the, be nice to the demon blade that might slit our throats before we have a chance to even introduce ourselves. All right.
I mean, she's unlikely to slit my throat. I'm delightful. I'm universally beloved wherever I go. Teera, sort of frigid,
I mean, in
little
a very
cold,
literal sense, yes.
unpleasant, maybe?
Yeah, well, Flip, if you could help protect my neck, I would appreciate it.
A little icy?
Yeah. Okay. Are you done?
Frozen soul? Yeah, I'm done.
Jesus Christ. Okay. We need to go. We need to go find our new best friend, Amara. And Tira kind of like looks down the well one last time. She wants to kind of look close and see if she can see. Are there multiple petals on this lotus? Are there like several petals?
It looks like it. Looks like there could
Okay.
be as many as somewhere between 6 and 9 petals. It's hard to tell from this distance.
Wow. So all of a sudden, Tira feels like this kind of like hope, like light up. Like maybe she won't. Maybe this horrible worst case scenario that Kane had mentioned with choosing Vorn or little Tira, like maybe it won't happen. And so Tira kind of like smiles to herself and starts walking towards that south door.
I'd like each of you to make a perception check. I mean, this is
Perception
a game
is
we should be rolling some dice.
yeah. 26.
Spawn has a 29.
32.
Damn. 26 was pretty good.
I rolled a 19.
It's let's see. Not good enough. A 26 is not good enough. However,
Shit.
Kane and Flip, as you're walking towards the south around this well, you both notice where this the stone steps lead up to this this door on the east wall in the direction where the tower is. You can see that on either side of the door there's these narrow windows, and through the window, backlit by red lanterns from inside and front lit by the red light of the moon, you see these demonic iron statues with their claws upraised, poised for attack, just looking through the windows. As if standing sentinel on either side of these doors. Keen just kind of gives a look and just...
That's the kind of shit that comes to life. I don't like that one bit.
Well, hopefully we don't have to find out.
Yeah.
But you otherwise pass easily across the field, the courtyard to the door in the south wall.
Okay. Tira reaches for the door, and then she like stops herself, and she's like, Flip, can you check it for traps?
Okay. What is that? Perception?
Yeah.
$19.
Looks clear to you.
Looks good. Let's go.
Great. Tira opens the door.
You open up the door to see a the 25 foot by 30 foot room. There is a red long red carpet that leads from where you step into this room all the way across to the south part of the room to the south wall. That is, this wall from floor to ceiling is carved in an elegant lotus motif. It is carved and inlaid, and with all of the red light from the lanterns and the moonlight and everything else, it's almost looks like whatever metal has been inlaid seems to almost be glowing with a red light of its own, showing this this massive carving of the lotus, equally spaced on to your left and to your right, and then a little further to the left and the right. You can see that there are curtains with that are parted, but they can be look like they can be pulled closed into 4 separate meditation chambers. You can smell in this room the lingering scent of burnt sage and incense. This is the meditation chamber. There's a handful of pillows close to the where the lotus carving is, as well as the cushions and small altars that are in each of the individual meditation chambers. Though there appears to be no one in here that you can see at the moment, this is the meditation chamber.
Teera is like looking around, like she's kind of like trying to like size this room up to see like, are there places somebody could hide? Is there some like any like strategic vantage points? Anything like that.
Anybody who is investigating the room can go ahead and make a perception check.
Yeah, 35. Oh, sorry. While Jake is grabbing a book off his shelf, check us out on teespring.com. We have all kinds of great designs for your fantasy TTRPGs and all of your other stuff. You can get them on t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Go ahead. You already made your perception check. Flip, if you're checking the room out, and do the same. I will do that for Kane. Natural 20 for Kane.
Wow.
Which gives him a total of 36. Kane seems to be slightly one-upping you. These last 2 checks are literally one-upping you, getting one better than you. Flip, were you investigating the area? Okay. As you guys are looking
trying
around,
to identify the
Kane, you see Kane walk over to stand before this massive carving of the lotus, and he kind of looks it over for a minute, and then he just kind of shrugs, looks around, and he comes over to where you are, Teera, and he says, almost too loudly, "I don't know. I don't see any place where anybody could hide here." And then he leans in really close with his back to the wall. The carving is hiding numerous holes within the relief. There is a chamber on the other side of that wall. And off to the right hand side. Barely perceptible, but there is a door there. So I don't know that we're going to find anybody here.
So, okay. So is Kane saying that, like, you have to, like, press on the lotus to, like, reveal this, to open this door, or
He's just
is
saying
the door
that,
just there?
he's saying that it's there.
Okay. All right, well,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, I guess, you know, you could probably just take anything that looks valuable, and Teera just starts walking kind of over towards where he said the door was.
You take a look in that room, and he points to the one to the right. He goes, I'll check over here. And with his back still to it, he kind of points at you and him and just kind of makes a couple hand signals to basically flank where he indicated that door is.
Yep. I do. I receive his message loud and clear.
Flip, what are you doing while Kane and Teera are loudly talking and seem to be talking but also making weird hand gestures to one another?
Flip is gonna find a chair on the wall, and he's gonna go sit down in it.
Oh, God.
I would like Kane and Teera to make stealth checks.
Oh, God. Great.
Or
This.
if you wanted to try it, you could try performance.
I think I'll stick with stealth. Thank you for the option.
Kane gets a 32 stealth.
Oh, God. Well, I got a 14. How the hell did he get a 32?
Kane is trained in stealth and has a plus 16.
Stealthy. Damn, very stealthy.
He's a bounty hunter.
Yes, you're right. I forget. Sometimes I think he's just a big lunk like me.
Let me
Okay.
make another check here. Okay. You both make feints like you're moving towards these rooms on either side, and then you step over, kind of placing yourself against the wall next to this door, and Kane gives you a... I'm like trying to count like that. And then when he gets to 0, he draws his sword.
Breach!
Shoves against this where he saw this door. And as he pushes it open.
Worth noting, I do have my sword out.
Okay.
Sorry.
As you step into the room, immediately you feel the cold, sharp edge of a sword's edge against your throat.
Jesus crumps.
And you feel a hand loosely on your back. And a woman's voice says, "If you make any more move, I will bleed you right here." Kane is standing with his sword poised over your shoulder. And you can see him trying like this. Whoever it is, they are using you as a shield.
Okay. Teera is just like standing very still, and she would just be like, "You must be Amara."
You feel the blade press just a hair closer to your throat. My name is not something freely given. Who are you?
Okay.
And why are you here?
We have come looking for the Black Lotus, and we were hoping that we could find someone in here to help.
You've come to the wrong place, sister. Rosgadai, protect the Black Lotus from thieves such as yourself.
There's a very, very good reason that we need it, and we're not thieves. It would be a little easier for me to explain if I wasn't afraid every second I was going to die.
When you say afraid, you hear behind you as she sort of... I can smell your fear. You wear it like a thick musk.
Can Flip hear this conversation that's going on?
You would probably hear Teera's side of it. I doubt you hear the other end. Look.
Well,
Let it go. And we can talk this through. I can remove her head and plunge my blade into your chest before you can even cry out. Step 1. Drop your weapon.
Teera, you can hear like that rubber, like the not rubber, leather like straps on her. You can hear her grip like get tighter on her sword for a second, and just like she's pissed that this she was trying to be careful. This was a plan that was supposed to work. And
As this is happening, Flip is going to whisper shout, oh my god, I am so embarrassed for you right now. Like, this is just the absolute. And Flip is going to hop up off the chair and he's going to go investigate what's happening, because this is just the most embarrassing thing that you may have ever done. And you kind of had sex with a demon.
God. And Teera is so pissed off, and she's just like, and she would just kind of like growl over her shoulder, like, "This blade is mine. You've made it very clear I couldn't do any harm to you if I wanted to."
A sword is no good in the hands of a dead woman. Place it on the ground. And tell your goblin friend if he comes any closer, I'll kill both of you and then him.
Flip! Wait.
Yeah?
Just stay where you are for a second. We're just talking. We're just having a normal, perfectly calm conversation.
Really? You seem nervous. You're putting your sword on the ground. Kane is his legs are quivering a little bit. It doesn't seem like you're having a normal conversation.
Teera drops her sword, and then she would be like, "Kane, go ahead."
Kane reluctantly places his sword on the ground as well.
Are you happy? Can we talk?
I'm the furthest thing from happy, but it is slightly better. You feel as she moves the blade around, just enough you can sense it's still there. She rests it on your shoulder with the tip pointing towards Kane. And then she pushes you forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says to Kane, "Go. Back out there." Kane rolls his eyes and steps into the room towards Flip. And this woman pushes you to follow Kane. She's using you as a shield while holding the blade at your throat and pointed at the others.
I go.
Good. I'm glad to see you can follow direction. Now.
But just like, do you know how magic works? Like, it's not to say that, you're not in a fine position, but like, magic goes around people. Like, it's not necessarily directional. Like, yeah, you might take off her head, but maybe.
Flip, do you remember that talk we had about being nice?
I'm being nice, but the thing that I don't understand is that she's trained as a warrior for, I don't know, however long. She recognizes that I can cast spells, so she knows, in theory, that she isn't safe from behind you. So I wonder what the pretense is. I mean, are we going to talk, or are you going to do whatever it is you're doing. But it seems like a waste of time because she's moving slowly. We could have had this conversation by now if you weren't under this thing. You can fight. I can fight. There'll be a dragon here if you want, but or we can talk and then see where we land. Just saying, like just trying to speed things up because this is ridiculous.
Your goblin friend talks too much.
Tell me about it.
Why are you here?
We already told you. We're here to look for the Black Lotus.
Did you wanna tell him about Von Reed recommending that we should talk to her because she might be helping us with our noble quest to save a bunch of people who were wrongfully killed by a bunch of evil witches and stuff? Like, did you want to share that at some point? Because it just feels like maybe this whole thing could go faster. My name is Flip. I'm known by many names. I'm an ambassador, a legal scholar, a psychologist, a fiction writer. Obviously, I'm a sorcerer of great and immense, terrible power. I'm a babysitter to Teera and her brother Kane. I have many titles.
Apparently, hostage negotiation is not one of them.
You're not dead yet.
You have
We
enough
are here
words.
to
You
avenge-
should fill a book with them.
Oh, I've
Yes.
written 24 books, actually. A series
course
of
you have.
novels set in a world of my own creation. Also, some self-help books. I have a copy in my bag of Flip, Play, Love. I understand that this place disappears every 10 years. You'll have plenty of time to read it. Maybe think about yourself. Not just the outward person that you portray, but who you are on the inside and who you want to be.
Teera is mentally just resigning herself to death. This is going to happen.
I would like, I think just for fun, I would like Flip to make a diplomacy check.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
Flip is definitely using his lie to me feat, and he's going to use deception instead.
And we have plenty of tomes just in case.
36. I'll take 36.
That's pretty fucking good, man.
Come on. Okay. I should tell you everything you need to know, that I haven't killed all three of you yet. You mentioned Von Reed. How do you know him?
We know him from way back, from the Grand Library. We first met him in his previous state, I guess. And I mean, we were there, you know, and we did a couple of favors for him, and we helped him out, and we're old friends.
How do I know you didn't just learn his name and leave him dead amongst his books and scrolls?
His last name was Little One.
That means nothing.
He gave us his sigil and like on a piece of paper.
Yeah, Flip, why don't you pull out the piece of paper real quick, huh?
Sure. He pulls out the piece of paper and starts walking forward to hand it to her.
As you hold out the piece of paper and step forward, you feel the blade leave your throat, Teera. You feel a slight push at the small of your back. Not forceful, but like somebody who wants you to just get out of their way. And
okay, I do.
Stepping to the side for the first time, you see Amara. She stands looks to be about 5'10". She has, her eyes glow red.
Ooh.
Faintly. She has red feathers woven into her black hair.
Cool.
She has a lithe, athletic body wearing armor of very carefully constructed leathers that allow for very dexterous movement. You can see that every aspect of her is designed for speed, dexterity, and silence.
Wow.
She reaches
Wow.
out and takes the parchment from you, Flip.
As Flip and Teera cross paths, Flip is going to whisper up at Teera, "Guess I'm going to have to add hostage negotiator to my many list of professions."
Teera is too terrified to laugh.
So if Vaughn...
Cari thought that was funny. Good job, Cari. Well done.
If Vaughn gives you his endorsement, then I'm more inclined to trust you further than I would otherwise. It doesn't mean I fully trust you.
Can I have my sword back? Can I go get my sword? Please.
She doesn't say anything, but she steps to the side in a way that would allow you to pass back where your
I
sword
walk
is.
and Teera is bristling and she's walking pretty quickly, and I imagine it's like they're like laying just inside this like other little alcove, and she would pick her sword up and sheath it, and then she would kind of like work her toe very quickly under Kane's sword and like kind of toss it up to him with her foot in such a way.
If I were a dick, I'd make you roll for that.
You're not, though. You're my good friend, Jake.
I'm not going to make you roll for that. So, you're not just common thieves hoping to cash in on a legend. You say you're here for a purpose.
Thieves. Yes. It's important, and we're not even going to take the whole thing. We have a couple petals. Well,
You're going to need the entire lotus plant.
why? I don't understand.
Because when this night ends, I want that flower outside of the temple with you and out of the hands of the Rosgadai. I would rather see the Black Lotus fall into your hands than those loyal to Manazusa. The monks here, the Rosgadai, they just want to revive him. I'd rather he stay dead for another 10, 20 or 100 years.
So what's that about? Why do you want to leave him dead, and why do they want to bring him back?
Because they are zealous sycophants. They believe they can't exist at their full power without the beloved leader Manazusa. I despise him. He's vain and stupid. It's why he's dead.
Well, you know, you were pretty critical of why we wanted the Lotus on the way in here. Some high school bullshit doesn't strike me as quite as important as what we need it for.
You don't know what this high school is. The
Fucking
Rosgadai
popularity
Temple
contest.
is amongst one of the highest forms of martial training there is. If Manazusa is allowed to be resurrected and continue in his efforts, he will harness the power of the Black Lotus for his permanent use. This demiplane will arrive to the material plane and will stay there. He will begin to wreak havoc. If you take the Lotus, Use it for whatever your selfish purposes are. I don't care. It keeps it out of his hands. I will help you on one condition.
Yeah?
The other Rosgadai must not know of my involvement in this endeavor.
Well, how can you help us and not let them know you helped us?
I will tell you how to get there, and I will give you the passwords to bypass the many traps in this.
Wait a minute. How to get there? Didn't we just pass it on the way in? Or was that a decoy?
Oh no, that's the well. Allows the lotus to bathe in the light of the blood moon. But it was long ago sealed with a wall of force. You didn't think we'd be foolish enough to leave the entrance open and unguarded in the courtyard? Perhaps you're not the right ones for this job.
No, we didn't assume that you were that stupid.
Well, I can only assume you're the muscle, and this one's the brains. And points to Flip. And the mouth.
He certainly likes to think so. Well, the nights are wasting. How do we get there?
I'm not gonna lie, you're going to have to get past some of the monks and the acolytes. The entrance, lower level, the staircase that leads down, is hidden under the altar in the training hall.
Oh.
I will summon my pupils. I have 6 acolytes who are loyal to me. That will ease your burden. As you traverse through the temple, there are trapped statues. You've already made it past the first. True. To enter through the door in the courtyard, the password is Rosgodai. When you get into the training room, there is a final statue. Manazusa is its password.
Is that it? Are there any more checkpoints?
Once you go downstairs, you're not simply going to be able to walk to the Black Lotus and claim it for yourself. Before you can even get to the Lotus, you're going to have to pass through the trials.
Trials? What kind of trials?
There are secret trials to protect the Lotus. There are 3 of them. You must choose one and survive it. I know only that the trials involve mirrors, fire, and darkness. Hopefully, and she looks at you, Flip, you're a smart enough leader to prevent these 2 from muscling their way through or kicking in doors.
That'd be silly. Who would even kick in any doors?
She glances over her shoulder at the forcefully pushed open secret door.
and the forcefully opened main gate.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, look, it's like using a hammer to make an egg. It might work, but goddamn if it's not messy.
Teera leans to Kane and says, he is really getting an ego boost on this trip, isn't he?
You have, at this point, only a few hours remaining before the Lotus continues its gestation and the temple returns to the demiplane. If that happens, the Rosgadai will succeed in their wishes, and Manazusa will rise, and you will be either dead or trapped here. I would suggest you get moving. Remember, you are to pass through the doors into the entrance chamber, an area called the Path of Demons. Rosgadai is the password. You will find doors in the Path of Demons that will lead you to the training grounds. If you are careful enough, you could perhaps sneak past the monks while they are training to get to the secret stairway. But I give that about a 1 in 100 chance to succeed. So be prepared to fight.
And what's the password again once we get there?
There is an Oni statue that is guarding. The password is Manazusa.
Oni statue. I imagine Teera, the stylus that Flip used to sign Vaughn's copy of the book is still like visible on his pack. And Teera like takes it real quick and starts writing these passwords on her hand, and she's just like trying her best because she knows she'll forget.
Writing passwords with the most expensive rare ink.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Teera just does not appreciate this.
Teera?
Just Montezusa. What?
75 gold per character. I know math is
What?
hard. 75 gold per character that you've just written on your hand. I know math isn't your strength. Count them up and let me know how much you owe me.
It's just ink.
Yeah, from the body of a purple worm.
How does that make it better?
Fermented for a year. Yeah.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
And Teera like gingerly hands him his stylus back.
He's gonna take it back, stash it in his pack. How many characters?
I just wrote down like the first letter of each, so just 2.
Just 2?
Yep. Just 2.
Let me see.
No.
No, let me see.
No! And Teera like puts her fist like up above her head.
Teera,
No. You don't need to see my end.
so you're lying then?
No.
Oh, you're not lying. Because
No,
you're honest.
just yes, and
Okay,
you
great.
are untrusting.
Great. No, you're honest. So, let me see your hand. You've got nothing to hide because you're honest and not lying. So just let me check it out. Let me just make sure that I am in on the passwords as much as you are. Because you've written them the first letter of each word, so
Oh, Flip, I can't afford to pay you back. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I write with charcoal, and that's literally free. So, I'm sorry. And Teera shows where she wrote down the full password for both doors.
Just for reference, it's 17 characters or 1,275 gold worth of passwords written on your hand.
That is
You could have gotten
way
them
too rich
tattooed.
for Teera's blood.
You could have gotten them tattooed on your arm for cheaper.
Right. with like a magic component of the tattoo for that shit.
I'm gonna need a minute, and Flip is gonna go sit in the corner, facing the wall.
I look at Kane. I'm like, I feel bad for real. I didn't know. How does ink cost that much?
He'll get over it.
Well, anyway, any other information that could help us, Amara? Anything else?
Would you like me to hold your hand and guide you to the Lotus?
Yeah, I would. Unfortunately, you're too chicken shit to face most of those other monks, huh?
You see, almost reflexively, as her hand goes to the hilt of her sword. Careful. You're lucky that you're breathing still.
Thank you for your help.
Just because I would like Teera to make a fortitude saving throw.
Okay. That's a 27.
Okay.
I will have you know that, and you don't need to say, I do have a feat called Juggernaut, which means if that was a success, it automatically becomes a critical success.
Oh, well, that's good for you then. Because you were about to take 3d6 of poison damage from the purple worm toxin used in the creation of the ink. Everybody knows you don't write on your skin with purple worm ink.
Yeah, obviously.
And that was a success, you would have taken 3d6 damage.
Ooh, thank God for Juggernaut, huh? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Flip Flip is going to leave the wall. And he's gonna say, so these Razgadai monks who are in the training room, how would they feel about fighting a dragon?
Most of them would welcome the challenge.
Because I could, summon a dragon in the courtyard and maybe draw them out and could see what's what, and then maybe sneak in behind them. And then maybe they could, your acolytes and you could make it seem like you're attacking the dragon and then turn on them. Like a deception. Go where your enemy is not and whatnot. I wrote that in the in my forthcoming book, The Flip of War.
Make another. Make a persuasion. Is it persuasion?
Not to be confused with The Art of Flip, which is another one of his self-help series.
Well, I guess there isn't a persuasion. So it would be.
That's my book. That's my book on negotiation. It's the flip of the deal.
Yeah.
37.
Let's see. I see my assessment of you as the brains was definitely accurate. That is actually a very good plan. Assuming you can actually summon a dragon.
It would be a pretty terrible plan if I couldn't summon a dragon.
Give me a moment to summon my acolytes. And she reaches into a pouch on her belt, and she pulls a small scroll with a red ribbon wrapped around it. She unfurls it, and you see that it is blank. She takes from within that same pouch a very small stylus. This you see is a very simple charcoal pencil. And as she takes this pencil in hand, she just kind of looks down and she kind of looks up just momentarily at Teera as she licks the tip of the simple graphite pencil, scrawls something on it, and then she holds the parchment up to her face and you hear her whisper something. She holds the parchment out and you watch as it, of its own accord, origami folds into the shape of a bird and lifts out of her hand.
Ooh!
And flies up towards the ceiling, and you can see now that there's these cutaways, almost like vents, that it goes through one of those and disappears.
What was that?
There's
That was
a
the
message.
sending. That was cool.
While, what's her name is summoning her acolytes, Teera, do you think you might be able to summon your guts, or are you going to keep them in your pocket for the rest of this mission?
Flip. Okay. All right. It could, just as a personal favor, and Teera would turn back to Amara, be like, "Could you kill him? Like, just just teach him a lesson, or have him bargain while there's a knife at his throat, just so we can get a real fucking taste of it."
I mean, you're not really helping your case when you're not the one who's threatening me. You're asking someone else to do it for you because you don't think you can do it. I'm just saying, you're not really making a persuasive argument.
As long as he's successful in summoning this dragon, then he'll survive.
Good. Good. I'm glad he will survive. What about us? Us too?
This one remains to be
Okay.
seen.
All right.
A few moments later, the door opens. And you see, as the door opens, shadow seems to spill into the room. And it sort of moves across the floor like a dark fog, and then it goes and forms into 6 monks or acolytes.
Cool. Fucking badass.
As soon as they appear, they immediately place one hand on their on one of their weapons and their other hand here over their heart, and they snap down in a bow towards Amara.
Badass. Badass.
The 3 of you make your way to the path of demons. Position yourself on the northern end of the chamber. The monks will come through the southern door. Once they are through, once this dragon has been summoned and they make their way out, you will be free to head up into the training chamber. Remember this passwords. She indicates your
I got
arm.
him.
Please tell me you wrote that in literal purple ink.
Oh, of course I did. What do you think I am, some kind of schmuck?
Where do you need to be to cast or summon your dragon?
As long as I can see the location, I can summon it.
When you get to the path of demons, when you move to the north part of the chamber, you will see a set of very narrow stairs leading up, where the demon guardians for the door stand in front of the windows. You should be able to peer over its shoulder into the courtyard. Will that be enough for you to summon it?
Yep. You're gonna have to make a lot of racket, because Phil only hangs out for a minute.
Phil.
Yeah, Phil the Flame Drake, obviously.
As soon as your dragon makes its appearance, we will ensure that the others come. Now go. And she motions for the three of you to leave the way you came.
Teera does start to walk away, but like can't help herself but like kind of keep looking over her shoulder. She really doesn't super like turning her back to this lady. In fact, I don't think she would. I think Teera would kind of like slowly walk backwards, not taking her eyes off of her.
As you move towards the door, you see that the 6 acolytes, they part and turn their backs to the outer wall so that they are not putting their backs to you. You see Amara just kind of give a nod of acknowledgement, just kind of a, yes, you can, Len. You might survive yet.
Cool. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
And
yeah, she continues her path.
And oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna narrate you in the courtyard, so go ahead.
Oh well, then yes. As Teera's walking, facing them, Flip is gonna look back at Amara, nod, and walk out with his back to everybody in the goddamn room.
Oh, what a stud. What a fucking boss. Nice. Way to be, dude. And his cape billows slightly as he turns. Please tell me.
He doesn't say his name, so it doesn't.
Wow.
So you head out into the courtyard. You have the password to get in the door, and you have the password for when you get to the upper, or up into the tower into the training area. There's supposed to be an Oni statue there that password will be for. So you can make your way to the door.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
As you approach the stairway, you see, before you even step foot on the stairs, you see the demon statues in the window with their claws up. Their eyes begin to glow a brighter red.
Rose go die.
You see, as you say the password, the demon's claws go.
Ooh.
And they cover their eyes, and you see the doors go and swing open.
Oh. Now, aren't you glad I wrote it down, Flip?
No, I would have remembered it. She just, we left the room 15 seconds ago.
Well, heat of the moment, you never know what you might forget.
Are you two going to keep bickering the whole way here? Are we going to move? Kane's already halfway up the stairs.
I hustle up behind him, and I flip off on the way up.
As you head up into the room, the Path of Demons, what you see, the room that is only 20 feet from the door to the back wall. But it is 80 feet from north to south. At each end, you see a very narrow set of stairs that lead up to a second level with a 5-foot path that leads over to where on either side of the door where these windows are, you can see the demons. At the base of each of these stairs, on the eastern wall, to the north and to the south, is a door. Where the stairs are and the door is, in that corner, there's an area, the only 2 areas in this room that are almost completely in shadow.
Okay, so do we get a sense that is this the Hall of Demons? Perhaps?
This is the Path of Demons.
The Path of Demons. Okay. Sorry, yeah.
It fits the description of where she said that Flip should be able to go up behind one of those demons and see out into the courtyard.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Flip.
All right. Flip is going to make some arcane gestures, and he's going to say, Philemus Maximus, and he is going to summon a flame drake into the courtyard.
Oh my god, yes.
As Flip is summoning Phil, Teera, where do you and Kane go?
Well, are we... So, I want to position myself at the northern end of the chamber. Are we in a chamber?
Yes.
Yeah. Northern end, please.
Where she told you to go, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to see if Cari remembered which way she
Listen,
was
I
told to
am
go.
locked in. I am paying attention. I wrote it down.
So you're
So
able
proud
to
of
sort
myself.
of tuck yourself, the two of you, into that corner behind where the door would open and kind of in shadow next to the step as Flip is summoning. Flip, start us off with what does it look like as Phil manifests above the well in this courtyard?
He's perched on the stone of the well, and he sort of looks confused because he doesn't see anything to fight. And he kind of like spies Flip because he has a sense of where he is, and Flip gives him the thumbs up, and then Phil kind of like gives a really subtle claws up, and he bellows loudly, snorting flames everywhere, and he growls, and his talons crush into the stone, and the grinding of claw and stone reverberates through the open area.
Remind me, this when you summon Phil the Flame Drake, are you
Yes.
summoning an actual physical dragon?
Yeah.
Okay. As you do so, Flip, you have a view to the partially open door of that meditation chamber, and you see the shadow fog billow out into the courtyard, separate around the well, as you see the 6 acolytes take up positions around the dragon, and you see the 7th one of Amara take up position near the westernmost door. She quickly walks to, or rather runs over to a section of the wall where there's a tapestry, pulls it aside, and you can see that there's a braided cord. She immediately pulls on this cord, and as she does so, you hear a loud bell start ringing, an alert or alarm bell. Suddenly, you can hear from the other side, where these 2 doors are, you can hear loud clamoring and yelling. The southernmost door, make a couple rolls real quick. Yeah. Okay. The southernmost door opens but a moment later, and you see 6 Roskadai acolytes and 3 Roskadai monks come pouring through the door quickly. They're moving almost in lockstep as they run towards the doors to the courtyard. The doors sling open, and you see for just enough for that lockstep of almost militaristic precision falters, and a couple of them at the back collide into the front ones as the doors open, and we can almost see like the camera following where this huge flame drake is roaring, and already some of the acolytes and Amara the Demon Blade are engaged in battle with this thing. The 3 monks at the back quickly shout and get control, and they actually shadow step, turning into that shadow, stepping out into the courtyard, and the other acolytes follow immediately. There are now in the courtyard 12 acolytes, 3 monks, and a demon blade, all surrounding this flame drake. Some of them are using some kind of whip, like barbed whips. Some of them have pulled out swords. A couple have looks like they brought spears, and a couple others are readying bows and loosing arrows. As this entire courtyard, I just picture this scene almost, the camera sort of swirling around the courtyard in this dragon until moving to a top-down position, and that's where we're going to end tonight. We will pick up.
Oh man!
We will pick up our next session as the three of you attempt to make your way into the lower levels, while they fight a dragon, and you have. Well, Phil will be there for 1 minute, so you better make that minute count.
We strategied the shit out of that. I'm so proud of us, Cari.
That was very well done, coming up with that plan and negotiating with Amara.
Yeah.
She's no match for Flip's silver tongue.
Nobody
who is?
Yeah, that's
so
legit.
I will say the intent is to rejoin next Monday, potentially next Monday with a live session. If not, the three of us are working on putting together a schedule to pre-record the last few sessions, in part because obviously, as the last 5 weeks has indicated, scheduling has become a bit problematic. But also, as we get towards the final finale of this campaign, we are hoping to have some of our previous players join us, and that is most going easily accommodated by pre-recording. So stay tuned. The best way to stay up to date on what's going on is to join us at the MTD Discord, which I will drop a link here, where we have channels, a public channel dedicated to this stream and others. I feel like at this point it feels like there's at least 2 more sessions in the temple. So I'm gonna say that we're looking at 3 to 4 sessions before this campaign ends, knowing what's ahead. So we're closing in on the final. I love putting the titles together and seeing writing 101 for the episode number.
3 digits, man. Let's go.
That's pretty cool. It's been an incredible 3 years. So, yeah. In the meantime, tune in for our game. Hope you'll join us tomorrow night for Sky Metal Iron Gods at 8:30 Eastern, or if you're watching later on the VODs, of course, you can catch all of our VODs on youtube.com/mini-terrain domain. Thank you to everybody who hung out and chat with us, or that is watching along, especially if you are somebody who likes to lurk quietly in the background. I almost said battleground. This episode, that's appropriate. If you like to lurk quietly in the battleground, or
sometimes
if you're watching,
the chat gets a little combative.
Yeah, if you're watching later on the VOD, we appreciate you and hope you enjoy this and all of our presentations. And of course, as always, a huge thank you to the players, the last remaining 2, Gary and Cari, without whom this would just be me and Kane talking to ourselves for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Metadata.